Good evening, everybody. We're going to be talking about the creation of the earth in 5 days, and we're going to talk about the first 3 days and what God did. So let me read first. It says in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And then verse 2 says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light it was good, and that God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. See, that goes to show God's grace and what he can do. He can create anything out of nothing, just like what we deal with a lot of problems and we just don't know how to deal with it. And you know what? God is there to help us alleviate that problem if we just believe, because he can take that problem, just snatch it away from you. He can do all things. Just believe in that. Because I mean, if he made the earth with nothing, how much more he can help you with the bigger things in your life. And then he separated the light and the darkness. If you think about it, that deals with us, where we deal with so much negative, but we have to have God to help us and show us the positive thing, a way of life. Show us the light so that we may see, so we'll quit going around blindly in this world, because God is there and he will help us and he will provide for us. And then it says, for the second day, it said, and God said, let there be the firmament in the midst of the waters, and let the divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament, and the waters were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. That's whenever God created the clouds in the sky, the waters, where he made the ocean and he made the rivers, where he made the oceans deeper than the rivers, and that's what he did on the third day. There's so much that he did just in the first 2 days, where what the earth was formed, and he created the waters on the earth just to make, I think he created the waters just so that it can help form the earth. This is my interpretation. It's not in the Bible. It's just my interpretation, but I think. And then he said on the third day, it says, and God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together upon one place, and let dry land appear. And it was so. You can continue to read till verse 12 later on if you want. And what I get out of that, it just really, really resonates with me. And I believe this 100% in my heart, that, like I said, it's my interpretation that what God's trying to tell us, he separated the waters from the waters and created dry land. Now, what I get out of that, and I don't know, you may agree with me if you want. If you don't, it's okay. But what I get out of that, I really get out of that, is that God is telling us there's times that we're in the deep ocean and we're swimming that deep ocean. Notice I said swimming. And then there's times when we go back to the shallow water and we're just walking in the shallow water, splashing around our feet. And then there's times when we're splashing in the water, it gets a little deep, then guess what? We fall into deep. And we swim right back to the shallow water because it was so deep, it was so scary. But God created the dry land. I think God created the dry land so we can rest. When we don't want to be in that ocean anymore. When we don't want to wade in that water anymore. The ocean of troubles that we deal with that's so difficult. Troubles of self-esteem. Troubles just dealing with different people, different things in our life, and we just don't know what to do or how to respond to different things. It's just, so hard, and we say, Lord, help us, help us. We want to be closer to you. But what do? We go into shallow water and we start going around in the shallow water. But you can't find rest in shallow water. I don't care what you do, you cannot find rest in shallow water. You can still drown in the shallow water, just as your troubles, you're still carrying them troubles because you're still wading in the shallow water. So you're just walking back and forth in the shallow water. And then you fall in the ocean again. That's fine. God's there to pull you out. Then you say, Lord, I don't want to deal with this no more. What do I need to do? Tell me, Lord, what do I need to do? And he said, you know what? I'm going to pick you up and set you on dry land. So he picks you up, puts you on dry land. But as he's picking you up, you look over his shoulder, just like a child would look over her father's shoulder, and you see one set of footprints in the sand, because you know God is there and he has you in his arms. And he wants to continue doing that. If you're struggling with disappointment, with just different things in your life that is very difficult, just rely on God and just have him to put you in his arms. And that's what he wants. He wants you to rely on him. Because the more that we rely on him, the more we'll understand what we need to do in life. Instead of floating in the middle of the ocean, almost drowning, and then go into the shallow water, wading around in that shallow problems that we have that we just can't get rid of, even myself. But I said, Lord, I need you to take me out of this shallow water, because I can't walk in the shallow water no more. Please place me on the dry land where I can find rest, where I can find peace. Well, that's it for tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was the first 3 days of God's creation, and I look forward to what we're going to be talking about tomorrow or the next day, whatever God leads us to do. You guys take care, God bless, and get out of that ocean. God wants you to rest, okay? Bye-bye.